Rip City, this is Jeremy Grant, and you're listening to the Blazers Balcony with Brooke, Olzendam, and Casey Holdahl.
Greetings, Blazer fans, and welcome to the Blazers Balcony, presented by Spirit Mountain Casino. Episode 146 of the Blazers Balcony, presented by Spirit Mountain Casino. I'm your co-host, Casey Holdahl. I'm joined by my co-host, Brooke Olzendam, and my friend. How you doing, Brooke?
I'm good. Another podcast, ready to roll?
Another podcast.
Before we hit the road.
Do it again, yeah. Before you hit the road.
I hit the road first.
I will be staying behind.
I know. I don't know why you're doing that.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions about that, too, by the way. Like, I don't know. I mean, you know, we got to split trips up.
I know.
Like, part of it's that, but I agree.
We could have a Cuban sandwich together over there.
So that's the thing. I don't like Cuban sandwiches.
Why? Oh,
because I don't really like ham very much, and I definitely don't like mustard. And I feel like a Cuban. I was just thinking about this the other day. I really feel like a Cuban sandwich is just a ham and mustard sandwich.
Yeah, those are the two main
pickles?
things. There are pickles, and there's some sort of cheese, like a white cheese. But I feel like there's maybe a few more things thrown on there. But no, I think there's
it's usually grilled. I think too.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
panini
just
style?
not my.
I mean, it's not my favorite sandwich. I know you like your sandwiches, and I was thinking what sandwich would be on the road.
I do love my sandwiches, but the Cubano to me seems like one of those sandwiches where it's like I don't understand why this has like such devotees to it because, and again, part of it is because it's a mustard sandwich, but like even outside of that, it's like.
Just can't wrap your brain around it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't like muffalettas very much.
I
get it.
I don't like muffalettas.
Like,
that's my least favorite sandwich.
Yeah, but I understand like the idea behind it.
That's so funny.
A Cubano for me, it's just like, okay, like it's a ham sandwich.
Yeah, the muffaletta really throws me off with the tapenade on it. I don't like that.
Yeah, I think the olive.
I'm not an olive girl, as we've discussed.
Yes.
So if it has olives on it, I mean, I will accept a Greek olive, but any other olive, I don't know. Aftertaste. It's really the only that and tiny corn. The only two foods I don't like. Yeah. And there's a name for them. I can't remember what they're called right now. You know the tiny baby corns?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I actually recall that you don't like tiny corn.
Because the ones that Tom Hanks eats in Big, like it's really on a cob.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones really the aftertaste. Those and olives. Other than that, I'm good to go. Like
so that's a good point. So those. I guess I really never thought about it. Yeah, those aren't just small versions.
No, they have completely different taste.
Yeah, it just kind of looks similar to it. So,
and like watery, and there's like the distinct taste to it that it's just that, and like they have like a spread, you know, like vegetables, and if you're at a party or whatever, and they're there, and like they touch something else, I have to stay far away. I go to the other side of the table just in case, because very distinct taste. And other than that, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm like both canned vegetables, particularly like canned vegetables in water. Mm-hmm. Like there's basically none that I like. It's like for me, it's like canned meat. It's like any meat that comes in a can, I'm not eating it.
What other than Spam? What kind of
Spam? There's like, and I don't know if it always is held like and we've talked about this before. I think like those little cans that has like the devil on it. It's like deviled chicken or something like that. Same thing with like tuna fish in like any kind of meat in a metal can. Like those like. I've never actually eaten one before, but like there's even those like cans that say like there's a whole chicken like inside of the can.
Oh God!
Yeah,
no, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we used to have when we'd take the boat out, like so we would just pack. Back when we didn't have like a cabin, we'd just go out for the day, and so you pack food and lunches and food and snacks. And my mom, who's a very conscious eater, I don't know what we were thinking, but we would just crack open those tiny Vienna sausages out of the can. That's disgusting. There's like 6 of them. There's one in the middle, there's also they're also in water or something. Yeah, something.
They're in like a
liquid
cocktail sauce. I think is what they claim it to be. Whatever that means.
I don't even know, but it was. I mean, when I think about it, we just threw them down. And now I'm like, I can't. I can't. But that might be one of the grossest things in the world. Popping open a Vienna sausage out of a can, being like, "Woo, let's go kneeboarding." Ugh.
Yeah, I'm one of those, like, I've never even been able to understand people that eat hot dogs, like, not even just cold, but, like, lukewarm. Like, same thing with, like, Vienna sausages. Like, no, if I'm eating a sausage, it needs to be hot. Like, and I don't like cold food generally anyways, but especially cold meats.
Oh,
it's got it. Yeah.
My dad can eat anything. He doesn't, I don't think he just doesn't, he doesn't want to take the time to reheat it.
Sure.
So like I make this chicken out of the crock pot all the time. Like it's like a go-to, and then it just, there's like, you could eat it for days. And he just puts it right in that bowl and takes it right out there in the kitchen or right in the living room and just eats it cold. And I'm like, we have a microwave.
Raw dog in the chicken casserole out of the old crock pot.
Yeah. That's just how, to each their own. How about that?
To each their own. Well, we've gotten all the important topics out of the way. Your Portland Trailblazers, bit of a mixed bag. They were kind of riding a wave and people were feeling good about the team, and they go into Utah and they end up getting up, and then they're having to kind of scrap their way to a victory, but they end up getting it versus Utah. They come back home. They host the Nuggets, another game where they have to come back and fight, make a bunch of plays defensively at the end, end up winning that game. People are excited. Then you host a Lakers team on Monday night. Playing on the second night of a back-to-back without Luka, without LeBron, without Austin Reeves. People are like, yeah, no, we're going to get this one, and it does not go very well. Trailblazers fall into, I don't even know if I could call it a trap game. They just didn't play well, and they end up losing that game to the Lakers 123-115 Monday night at Moda Center for their third loss of the season. So they're 4-3 right now as we are recording this. So still, obviously, I think a better start than anyone expected. But I also think, some of the enthusiasm they had from 3 straight wins. They beat the Lakers in Los Angeles with Austin Reeves, no Luka, no LeBron, to kind of start those 3 games. And then, having the game on Monday where they just didn't play especially well. They're going up against a team that is young, and it's guys who, are getting an opportunity to play. And we've seen that over and over and over again in the NBA. It's a thing that happens. But I think for a lot of people, and I think I would probably include myself in this camp, it doesn't feel like a thing that should happen to this Trailblazers team, because it's like they've been finding a way. Exactly. One, they've been finding a way. 2, like they've been doing it by playing hard, and you figure, hey, if we just go out there and play hard against a team that has less talent than us, like, yeah, that doesn't mean we're going to win for sure, but like we should give ourselves a good chance. And in the first quarter, I think they went up like 13 or 14, and then again, things just did not go especially well. They shot very poorly. They were not able to slow down the Lakers. And once you kind of get that momentum when you're the Lakers, it kind of starts to build a little bit, but like they just didn't ever have really an answer for it. So, I think, one of those games where you hope that's not kind of what the team looks like. And especially early on in the season too, I think there is always this idea that's like, well, what team are we? Are we the team that beat the Nuggets 2 nights ago, or are we the team that lost to a Lakers team on the second night of a back-to-back without 3/5 of their starting lineup?
Mm-hmm. I like to believe it's the Denver Nuggets
night.
I
think so too.
I think so. I mean, I'm not making excuses, but everyone does. Every team has an off night, and it really was one of those games where you're like, I've talked to so many fans walking up and down the stairs, like, well, if we don't get this one, I'm like, okay, well, I understand what the optics of it. I get it, but let's. I don't like even talking about it.
It's game 7 too. Yeah,
And I had to talk about it because it's the pregame show, and of course we show the starting lineups, and then there are a couple guys that were like, they hadn't played. They didn't play last game, and so it was one of those games where like, okay, let's not just look ahead. And Michael Holden always says something like, they still have names and numbers on their back. They're still getting paycheck. No one can be overlooked. And those are those nights where it's true. Guys that don't get a ton of playing time, they want to take advantage of it and be like, I should be playing more, so I'm going to go out and show what I can do, because they haven't had the minutes before. So it's one of those games where you're just like, ugh. And I guess Thiago said afterwards that they just, they played a better game than we did, and there are a couple times that the offense didn't look like it was flowing very well.
It did not, yeah.
And it was kind of like, I don't know, like guys. I understand, like late in the game where you like guys are like, well, I got to put the team on my back right now. Denny obviously played really well. Jeremy looking for his shot, but it's kind of like at the same time, sometimes you can't put the whole thing on yourself. You really have to, dance with the guy that brought you. So go back to what's worked, and we saw that work a handful of times this season, more than a handful of times. And Denver was one of those games too, where it's like, okay, they've figured out how to execute down the stretch, which was something that, we were wondering how that was going to look, because these guys are still all getting to know each other and playing a different style. And so it was just kind of like, darn it, because that's not the way that they wanted to end that one. But it was, I'm not going to overreact about it.
Yeah, nor should you. It's one game, and you wish they had played better.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just felt like they had a little bit of momentum, I think, makes you feel a little worse about it than you would otherwise. But yeah, like it's one game, and it's the kind of stuff that happens in the NBA. And I think there's cause to look at what happened and try to address some of the issues, because I do think there are some broader issues that kind of came to light in that game that you already knew about. But I think one, like 3-point shooting, obviously that's going to be a situation for this team where, like, some nights their shots are going to be going down and it's going to look great, and other nights, such as versus the Lakers, those shots are not going to go down and it's going to look pretty rough. And I even, I asked Drew Holiday about that after the game. The Blazers took 43 pointers in that game, and I was like, how'd you feel about the quality of those looks? He's like, I felt great. He's like, I airballed like 3-3-pointers. Yeah. Like, and which I kind of chuckled at, and I was like, hey man, I'm sorry. He's like, no, he's like, it's funny. Like it's not something that I said it in a comical way, because it's comical that I missed those shots as badly as I missed them.
And you don't see him do that ever.
No, and so that's part of it. And so I think you look at that, but also we haven't even addressed it yet. Like, when you lose Matisse, Thybulle, and Blake Wesley.
Oh yeah, huge.
That's kind of some of the ways that they were, particularly defensively, having success was kind of playing with energy and like having guys coming off the bench and really kind of like sparking things off the bench. And that Tiago had mentioned that before the game. When we were asking about Blake Wesley, who the team announced on Monday has a fracture in his right foot. No timeline for that yet, but you assume a bit.
Yeah.
And Tiago even mentioned, he's like, he's the guy that comes off the bench and like kind of like gets everyone else to start playing at a higher energy. And I think you look at the game versus the Lakers, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that was missing.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Like the guy that kind of comes in and starts to speed things up for you on both sides of the ball. I mean, Blake, it seems like, in the amount of time he's been in Portland, like that seems like the only way he knows how to play is like super fast and just kind of going all out the entire time. And so when you lose that, again, it's a guy who you signed, who got cut, but it already really kind of was a part of your team at that point. And so to lose him, I think is obviously a problem. And losing Matisse is obviously not great. He suffered a tendon tear in his, I can't remember which thumb, but one of his thumbs, UCL. I think they said 4 to 6 weeks for Matisse. I saw him last night. He has like a bunch of wires that are like connected to it.
No, I went to give him a hug because I hadn't seen him since it was announced. So I went to give him a hug, and then when you have those awkward ones where you try to go up or below the arm, and then because I was trying to, as I was going in, I saw the wires. I'm like, I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to. So I was the most awkward person in the world. I went up, and then first I went down because but then I saw the wires, so I went up, and so we're almost like high-fived. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to avoid this. What is going on?
I don't want to snag anything.
No,
here.
I was like, never mind. I retreat. But yeah, so that was bummer both of those, just automatic defense, automatic spark, like you said, when those guys go in, it's just like, okay, let's go. I mean, things can change quickly when those two or one of them are out on the floor, and it changed the game. And we saw Blake Wesley in the second quarter. Which game was that? The second quarter that was just amazing. Which game was that? It was at home, wasn't it?
I think that might have been, was the Utah game? They had a really good second quarter in Utah.
Maybe it was that one. It probably was. But where he came in and just truly, changed the energy. Like, everyone's like, you're right. Like, okay, wait, that's how we're playing. Okay, and then they all did, and that was like steal after steal after steal. I will say that the streak continues of 10+ steals.
Yes,
which is
it does.
Great. And I was monitoring that the whole night because I wanted something good, something exciting to talk about. And they had 5 early, and then I believe they had 10. They finished with 13, I think, 13 steals. And so 10 was reached early on in the second half. I remember I'm like, okay, well, there's that. We could talk about that because then that's the longest streak of games with 10 plus steals, and we were tied with another team in the past 25 years. It's a stat we've been really talking a lot about on the post and pre and halftime show, and so that continues. So that's good. So they still can get out and play, fast defense and get into guys without Matisse and Blake, even though obviously they add so much to it. They still can do that, but I don't know what was going on. The Lakers shot the heck out of the ball, like 59%.
They shot pretty well, and I mean, again, like what we've seen out of Blake Wesley defensively coming off the bench is what the Lakers got out of Nick Smith Jr. last night coming off the bench. Again, a guy who is the guy who's kind of bounced around a little bit. 25 points in 27 minutes. Yeah. He went 10 of 15 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3. I mean, basically he was just kind of bouncy and would get into the paint and then put up a floater or straight line drives to the rim, and there was really nothing that Blazers seemed like they could do about it. DeAndre Ayton,
DA was good last
who you
night.
should not have booed, 29 points, 10 rebounds, and that was after Donovan gave him the work in LA, and it was almost like they kind of switched roles, and Donovan really forced the issue and won that matchup in the first game in Los Angeles, and then DeAndre Ayton come out and absolutely kind of did the same thing in Portland. So
he did a really good job of finishing at the rim, and he just looked he looked good. I mean, we've seen performances like that when he was with the Blazers.
Yeah.
That's something DA can do. So yeah, you're right. It was like they switched, unfortunately, but also you were talking about Smith Jr. Then you got the guys on the bench who aren't playing. They're going nuts, and then they feel like, okay, this is their game to lose. It kind of felt like the control was just taken in that fourth quarter, and it was really hard to get back, especially when guys are like him and Lava. How do you say his name?
Jake LaRava.
Lavaria, something like that. The one that Ant Edwards is like. Someone yelled, who is number 12? That's what I'm saying. It was kind of like one of those. But yeah, they took advantage of the minutes that they were given because the roster was shortened and they went out and played free. And it was just like one of those things where things weren't going very well for the Blazers. Things are going great for this, hungry Lakers team. And Lakers they've been good record. They've been
playing well, and again, people have talked about it too. Like JJ Redick has them playing hard, and they have it seems like they have a real identity right now, which the Blazers are. I think they're getting there, but it's going to take some time for them to continue to develop it, and again, there's going to be some nights where. Their defense is going to be able to keep them in games to overcome maybe whatever deficiencies they might have offensively, particularly shooting from distance. And there's going to be some games where they're not going to have necessarily that same defensive energy and the shots aren't going to fall. And so you're going to end up having a situation like you had where, you lose by almost 10 to a Lakers team that talent-wise, you had more talent then.
Yeah. And you think, maybe today, it was a day that some of the guys got up and said, I'm going to go get some shots up. I'm going to go get, just work on my three. Hey, you want to come in, rebound for me? I'll rebound for you, and just work on it. I mean, I'm this daughter of a coach, but just practice. Yeah. And the more, I think that would be, I feel like that's what I would do. Like, okay, you know what? I didn't shoot very well last night. I'm going to get in the gym. And just, get a few reps in, because it wasn't like they didn't play hard. They played hard. It's just, things weren't going their way, and the defensive towards the end, I just felt like the Lakers could get whatever they wanted, and then it was kind of like, okay, this is not our night.
Yeah, it was wild to again see the end of the Denver game.
I know,
where
so
you're
opposite.
Just like you've got such great defensive energy, you're just shutting everything down, and part of that's because how that iteration of the Denver Nuggets is going to play. And that's, the NBA is really a scouting league. And so a lot of times it's like, hey, we know what they like to do in late game situations with this particular lineup. So we know how, maybe not to blow it up, but at least we know how to combat it a bit. When you're playing that Lakers team, they're just playing, they're just playing how they're playing because it's like half the guys are out and they hardly get to play together anyways. It's not like there's like a scouting report on well, this is what the Lakers do when Dalton Connect and Marcus Smart are in your starting lineup. It's like, again, you should still be able to win those games, but it does present a different challenge. And so to see kind of how good it looked at the end of the Nuggets game versus kind of how poorly it went in the fourth quarter of the Lakers game. again, it's just one of those things where you're like, how does that happen? It's like, it's
the NBA.
the NBA. And, that game also, the Laker game also to me felt just a little bit like just the last couple weeks catching up with the Blazers a little bit, just like it's been emotional and like there's been a lot of stuff going on and playing a lot of games, travel, just obviously the other stuff that's happening. And I think that, you can kind of push through it for a while. And then I think, maybe at some point in time you take a little bit of a breath and you're like, oh, okay, we're a little bit comfortable now. And then that's when the Lakers come in and kind of
and there's
rough
such
on
thing
you.
as a wake up call.
Yeah,
where I don't like the way that felt last night. I don't want it to feel that way again. And so you just kind of like go. You got maybe I don't say you change your approach, but you just it's good to remember. It's good to remember. Okay, we don't want to feel like that. It was great to remember how great the Denver game felt, and that again to your point of which felt so night and day compared to those two games compared to each other, but. Then you just get to welcome the reigning champs in.
Yeah, no, the only undefeated team in the NBA in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, that'll be an easy one. 7:00 start time on KUNP, Rip City Radio, Blazer Vision for that one as well. Check out Brooke in the pre-halftime and post-game show before she heads off onto the road, where she will only be doing the in-game show.
That's true. I will say that. The one down, I love doing the pre, post, and half with Michael. It's one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. We have so much fun. But the one bummer is I never get to watch the halftime show. And last night is one of my
Scooby's
favorite.
a good one, yeah.
Yes, it's one of my favorite halftime shows. And we showed a little bit of it as we're coming back from break and stuff. But that show is just incredible. The fact the guy can even just hold himself up with his arm in general is a show in itself. Yeah. And then the dog's involved, and then the dog's involved. And I loved it. Good producing last night, Christian. Our dunk of the night was Scooby doing the
Scoob
the 360.
Yeah, doing the 360. But you missed the first one.
Oh, did he?
We
didn't show that.
He got the second one.
That one was not
he stuck
the
with
main
it.
one. It was the dunk of the night. But I don't know if it was planned, but maybe because the game wasn't going so great, they brought him back out later.
So I think that is planned.
Oh,
but
okay.
no, I agree. Like that's the best part of it is when he comes back and does it again. Like that's a lot of fun. And so I had some friends who brought their sons to the game last night, and there's always this feeling where like, when the team's not playing, especially where the game's not very good, you just kind of feel like you're like, oh, I'm sorry, and it's like,
the same thing
and then it's like, what are you gonna do? And it's like, but there's just a part of you that's like, you came out, I want you to have a good time, and when it doesn't go especially well, there's always just a part of me that feels just like, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But then when I saw Christian and Scooby there, I was like, well, if nothing else, like you get to see Christian and Scooby, and their sons loved it, and like, and the other thing too is it's like, as long as there's a 6-7 mention, and if there's some kind of wrestling thing that happens during the game, it's like they're like, hey, no, they had a great time. So
I feel that same way. And what's so funny is I went a range of emotions where I had two different sets of friends come, and I'm like, oh no, they're going to be so bummed. Lucas and Reeves aren't playing. Oh, they're not going to get to see. And then it went from, well, now I'm on the opposite side. Now I'm bummed because they didn't get to see a win, which I was like, shoot, I'm really sorry that it's going to be, maybe not that great of a game tonight because they're not playing anybody. And then at the end I was like, shoot, sorry that those guys played out of their minds. And Blazers didn't
and they
win.
Lost too.
Yeah, and they lost.
So, awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, that's that Catholic guilt. I don't know.
Well, I'm not Catholic, but I still have that. Again, I think part of it is, it's something we obviously spend a lot of time with, and people are interested in it. And so when they're in the building, you just want to have fun. Exactly. Yeah. Like, but that's the other part too, is that people generally do have fun.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
even when the game is not especially a good game, which again, the other part of just that Lakers game too is, you lose. But it wasn't even a good game, Like if you lose a good game, like the Timberwolves game to start the season, that was a great game. They lost it, but like it was super fun. Like everyone, it was a good game.
Yeah,
that game on Monday was not a good game. Like it wasn't. The Lakers won it, but like and they feel good about their performance, I'm sure. But like no one would watch that one and be like, oh yeah, this is what I love about NBA basketball. Yeah. So, the other thing that I just want to make note of this real fast. There's that game, particularly when it's not going well. Like there's those times when you're looking at the Blazers like individuals, and like when someone scores on an and one, and you can just see they're just like, what am I supposed to do about that? Like, like you can tell that they're not even mad. It's just like,
yeah, that happened.
Gosh, dang
times,
it.
yeah.
Like, yeah. And so like a guy goes in, like hits a layup and gets fouled. And there's like 3 guys that are just like, really? Like this, it. Yeah. And those are the times when you're like, all right, now they know what they're in for, and it's probably too late to do anything about it. But
yeah.
That's where we're at. So the other thing I want to say too, just for the record, I was shocked at how good Portland's free throw shooting is statistically this year. I think they're like 7th or 8th, because I feel like they're missing free throws left and right. And like, I must just be when I'm especially paying attention.
Yes.
Because I feel like they've shot like in the 70s multiple games. They shot 73% from the free throw line in the loss versus the Lakers. Also, too, and I know some people have talked about this. ESPN, your box scores are terrible now. Why did you guys do this? Why would you separate points from the percentages? Like they're.
I'm sorry.
No.
I really feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But I do want to, before I forget, say kudos, shout out to our fans on Halloween night. The costumes were
great.
so good.
Yeah.
Everyone really like went all out. I loved it. And my favorite part of the night was when the scoreboard was down and Kevin Calabro goes, "We got Waldo fixing the scoreboard. Waldo's fixing the scoreboard."
Boy, and when they had the clock stoppage for like 5 minutes versus the Lakers, everyone is like, I was just like, I will leave. I know it's tech stuff. It's not your guys' fault. Like, I'm not. It's when those things happen, like there is no one to blame. Like they just happen.
It just happened.
But I can't do it.
That was the long one.
Yeah, and I also got the COVID and flu shots the other day, and so like that was about when I was starting to be like, I don't feel especially good right now, and then it's like this game's got to get done because I need to get home. Like I do not feel very good right now.
I'm sorry.
No, it was fine, but yeah, like that's exactly right. And yeah, like I think Tristan even said, he's like, yeah, the one time you wear a costume to work, and then it's like, oh yeah, you're going to be front and center for the next 20 minutes on national TV, trying to get this thing figured out. And especially too, like being Where's Waldo, which just leads to the
perfect. It was like you can't plan that stuff. But yeah, they were great costumes. I just like everywhere I looked, I was like, man, that's really good. They really put a lot of time and effort into that. So that was just a fun night in general. It was fun. That whole night was awesome. That was great. A lot of kids were rocking their outfits, which I appreciated because they're missing out on trick or treating. But yeah, they when that scoreboard thing happened this like at the Lakers game, there were some fans there that were having a good time, and I have my ears in, so sometimes I can't hear, and so it depends on how loud they are if I can hear them. So I had one in and one out, so I could hear him. And he's like, "Brooke," and I'm like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Are you gonna go fix the scoreboard?" I was like, yeah, and I don't even know what to say to that. He was trying to be funny, but I was like, I don't think you want me to do that. And I don't know. I'm like, scoreboard jokes too soon.
But it's not even that. You got to give me a better joke, man. Like you got to come with something better than that. If you want me to like play along, and be like, like you got to give me something more than like, oh, the scoreboard's out again. Like again, like people are making real obvious jokes about the Blazers these days, and it's like, look, guys, like. Everyone's having fun. They're getting their jokes off. That's fine. Step your game up. Yeah, exactly. Like if you're gonna make a joke about this stuff, like at least make it
top tier.
Work on it a little bit. Workshop it. Like practice it a little bit.
Well, that's the same as, and I know that they don't, fans that they don't think about this, but I get asked this all the time on the road from mostly other fans. I mean, our fans are, just chatting it up about the game and, players and stuff. But on the road, it happens on the road so much where I'll be walking towards somewhere and I have the mic in my hand, right? I could be getting ready to go interview, like walk off or what. Either way, I'm walking somewhere with my mic in my hand. And some guy, it's usually a dude, will be like, "I'm ready for my interview." And I'm like, I don't know what to say to that. Like, and I'm like, I always like panic, and I just go, maybe later. Well, you're gonna have to win. Like, I never have a good response to it.
What I would like to, what I've always, and this is like it gets used in TV shows every now and then. The one I think of especially is from 30 Rock. In my head, what you should do is you should have a bunch of cards made out that say, you're going to make a joke about asking me your question. And when someone does that, you should hand them a card and be like, here you go. This is me predicting the joke that you are going to make right now because it gets made in every single
I'm ready
arena
for my
that I've
interview.
ever had. Exactly.
When are you going to interview me?
You're going to make a joke about me interviewing you.
That's like when Myers Leonard made those cards for when he people would ask him the same questions.
Oh, yeah.
And he had made a little card and it said, yes, I am a basketball player. Yes, I can reach things on the top shelf. Yeah, like about like the number one questions he's always asked, which is true. Like we've talked about this before, where we land like late in a hotel and there's like a party in the lobby, and people get in the elevator with us, and there's someone like Myers or Donovan or whatever, and they go, oh, "Wow, you're tall. Are you a basketball?" And I just want to be like, "Don't ask him that."
Do you ever wonder if you would not, if you never worked in sports or basketball, like? Do you think you would say those things?
No,
I
would never say those things.
I would like to think that I wouldn't either, but it's so prevalent that like you almost like it's almost like people don't have control over themselves in that moment. Like they're like, okay, I gotta say something. Like it is so tall.
I guess maybe I'm just, I'm sensitive to it, and I'm protective, and I just know how many, like, it's got to be annoying, especially for the 7-footers, like, it's got to be annoying. So when I see it coming, same thing. I'm like, this little old lady's going to say something, and she does, and she doesn't. She's just chatting.
And I'll say too that like the old ladies and old men don't for some reason, but I guess maybe just don't live as long. I feel like I don't have as much like exposure to old men as I do to old women. Sounds weird. That's good. They're allowed to say those things. And my grandma is allowed to look at young Hansen and be like, oh my God, he's so big. Mm-hmm. If you're like 50, you're not allowed to. And also to that point, like if you're like 50 and you're at a cocktail party or some kind of like office get together, you're like, you're not 3 sheets to the wind, but maybe you're like 2 and you're kind of feeling it like
yes.
Those are the people where it's like you
exactly.
have to exercise restraint, and I know you're not going to. And I'm saying that because I think maybe it's impossible. Like I think maybe it's not possible to not reference a 7-footer in an elevator when you've had like 3 drinks.
No, I agree.
Because if it's happened, I haven't seen it.
I have not seen the restraint. No, I have seen the question asked many, many times. And it's just, I can physically feel myself like clenching up, like he can't help himself. He's going to do it. And he asks, and then our guys are always like so respectful, like, yeah, no one's ever been, why are you asking me that? But it's just me. I'm like, we just landed. Just leave them alone. Because then if they respond, which they do usually, then that seems like they're opening up for a full conversation. And then they're like, oh, well, who do you play for? That's fine. I get they want to know what team is in town. I get it. But then it keeps going. And then usually our players are on a very high floor. And so the conversation keeps going and going.
Doesn't stop. Yeah.
And then I feel bad because I get off on a much lower floor. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Take it easy, guys. Best of luck. Yeah.
Yes, I wish you the best of luck. I'm sorry. I'd stay if I could, but this is my floor.
So, do you think that a person in their 40s, if you ran into Mike Myers on an elevator, could you not make an Austin Powers reference?
Oh, that's a different story.
I'm just saying. I think there's a corollary there.
I think I would say, just so you know, I was Linda Richmond for Halloween in college. No one knew who I was, but I was verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. I was Linda Richmond. So I think that would be a good thing to say because it's true. I mean, I really was. And that's like a kind of an off the wall one, but I really try not to bother celebrity. I really don't.
And I mean, I think from working just kind of in the periphery of celebrity, like you kind of picked it up a little bit.
That one, Mike Myers was a good one to choose.
Saying, like for people because there's always there's a number of people for people of a certain age group where it's like this, it's kind of the reason I was saying it's like the 6-7 thing where it's like, look, it feels like it's like just constantly getting repeated now. But yeah, like if someone was like, yeah, baby, yeah, like 20 years ago, they'd be like, yeah, that's great. Or, Tim Robinson sketches are like that too, so So take it easy on the kids, I guess is what I'm saying too. But yeah, like I just think maybe it's impossible to not not mention those things.
And maybe they think it's disrespectful to not mention it.
It's almost like they're like, I have to say something, right?
Yeah,
like, will
maybe.
this person be offended if I don't make mention that they're tall? Like, I don't know. Maybe they're
okay. I will turn a new leaf on this one.
Well, no, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that like I do wonder if it's even possible.
That's
like, it's one of those things where, like, I think maybe that's just the nature of
like
the world.
Speaking of SNL, like Kristen Wiig, this is the surprise lady, where he's like, you can't say anything. It's a surprise party, and she's literally like she's jumping through windows because she wants to say surprise so bad. If the surprise, maybe it's like that where you can't like they're trying to put their hands over their mouths, but they can't. They're like, how tall are you?
Yeah, no, I think I think there's something visceral that happens.
I think you might be right.
That just takes over. Like,
never thought about it.
There's got to be some like something happened in our evolution where you almost have to be like, hey,
no, you might be right.
You're really tall.
That's funny.
No one does that for super short people though. No. Like, man, can you imagine someone be like, geez, boy, you're tiny.
God, that's terrible. That's true. They don't do that.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, there's a hope for humanity.
Well, I mean, I guess there's value judgments there, but there shouldn't be.
No, that's very true. That's funny. I'm going to think about this all day.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the stuff you think about when you lose to a shorthanded Lakers squad, 123-115 on Monday night in front of a nearly sold-out crowd at Moda Center. So as you mentioned, Wednesday, they will be facing the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team, too, that, like, and I was thinking about this when I was driving home, is that, you know, you probably lost to the Lakers because they played harder than you did, even though they don't have the same amount of talent that you have, at least on their roster that night. The Oklahoma City Thunder play hard all the time, and they have more talent than you have on your roster. So it's one of those where it's like, if you don't play hard against them, they are going to embarrass you, and they have embarrassed the Portland Trailblazers a couple times throughout the last couple of years. So I would expect a much better effort, one, because they're the champs and they're undefeated. Again, I hate the idea that, like, the whole playing down to the competition stuff. I can't buy that right now. Like, they don't seem like that kind of team to me. They're not far enough into it. I don't think they view themselves as like, oh, we've accomplished something. Like, I'm sure they felt good about winning versus Denver, but like, I don't think they entered that Laker game where like, oh, now we're gonna.
No, I don't think so either.
So like, I just think they got outplayed, and you can't. So you really need to bring your absolute best for Oklahoma City, because they've got more talent than you do, and they're going to play incredibly hard the entire time. And their bench guys, their third unit guys, they all play hard. They all know their roles. Like, they fit into them very well. They're a team that you really got to be on your P's and Q's in order to even be successful against, let alone get a win. So hopefully, you know, the Blazers are maybe addressing a few things, or just kind of like going over some tape and maybe figuring out some areas where they could have done a better job versus the Lakers, and apply that to getting that one for Oklahoma City on Wednesday night before heading out for their first extended road trip of the season at Miami, at Orlando, at New Orleans, at Houston, at Dallas, which, you know, that's not an easy trip. So you'd like to, I mean, if you can beat a team like Oklahoma City, if you could give them their first loss of the year. Oklahoma City is playing on the second night of a back-to-back, as I'm sure you guys mentioned on the broadcast, Brooke. The Blazers in a stretch right now where they're playing 4 teams that are all playing on the second night of a back-to-back. Obviously, that didn't help them versus the Lakers after the Blazers had 2 nights off. And I do feel like sometimes, particularly early on in the season, it can go that way, because it's like, look, we're going hard and we're tired, but we're not February tired, you know, like we've played 6 games at that point. So, and then when you have another team that's kind of a little sharper, they kind of jump on you. They didn't jump on the. I don't even know what to make of that game. It's just a bad one. You should probably just punt it. But it'd be really nice if they could come out and have a much better performance versus Oklahoma City. You know, even if you don't win, I mean, you obviously would like to win. There's no moral victories here, but you want to play better than you played versus the Lakers before you head out on a extended road trip. So hopefully we will see that versus Oklahoma City on Wednesday, because again, like there's no doubt about who the Oklahoma City Thunder are. They're the champs. They're very good, and they're undefeated. So there's no like, we didn't know we were going to be up against. It's like, everyone knows.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just seeing how they respond. take it as a challenge. What better challenge? Okay, well, that's not us. That team that we did not bring our A game. That's not how we like to play. I mean, have the former champs or the reigning champs come in and give it your all. Get back to get back to what was working for you to start the season. And I think it's going to be fun. I think it'll be a good challenge. I love it. I think it's like the perfect timing for it.
Yeah. No, and the other thing too, I just want to mention real fast, because I think we're like 5 weeks into his initial diagnosis with Scoot Henderson, and just the idea too that like you really feel like, boy, I wish this team had Scoot Henderson right now, like particularly in terms of like being able to kind of create for other guys as well, getting into the paint. It really feels like, particularly now with Blake Wesley out as well, having Scoot out there would really be helpful. So you hope that the rehabilitation is going well. Again, we haven't really gotten an update on it because, again, until I think he's getting closer to playing, there probably won't be an update about it. But we're now well into, again, that initial time frame they gave him. Hamstrings are notoriously fickle, so you always have to consider that. And all injury stuff is a little bit like that too. It always kind of rubs me the wrong way when people are like, well, they said it was going to be 6 weeks and we're in week 7. It's like, yeah, like that's just kind of the way it goes. Like bodies respond differently to different things. Like, you can have a general time frame that you assume that something's going to take. But again, it's like, yeah, I'm usually hungry at 5 o'clock, but sometimes I'm not hungry till 8 o'clock, like sometimes your body just changes up on you a little bit. So hopefully he's able to get back out there soon because they could sure.
Well, they all want to come back. They're working to get back as fast as they can. So it's just about clearing them, and they will, we talked about it last time. Matisse does not like to watch.
Well, I was curious. So Matisse is on his, is it on
left.
His non-shooting hand?
I think it's his.
Because part of me, I was like, well, Matisse, like, he can just. But I mean, you need to be healthy as well, and particularly for a guy like Matisse that had to set out so much time last year, it's like not going to like, yeah, let's play through an injury and just see if you can hack it. No, you got to get it done. But there was for a half second, I was like, well, if it's not a shooting hand, I could see a situation where maybe he puts himself through the ringer to try to get back out there.
Left.
So,
which I'm almost positive that's what I did. That ligament tear. Remember?
From the deck?
From the deck.
Yeah.
Yep. I had the same thing, and I didn't. Here's a good little example. I did not rehab as well as I should have, and it still hurts. So
you got to do. You did not have the electrodes.
No. I did not have the electrodes. So it's fixed, but it's never going to be like, it's still a little bit more swollen than the left one, and that was years ago. So that's just a little example of making sure you're ready to go and doing what you're supposed to do.
Rehabilitation.
Don't do what Brooke does.
It is important to rehabilitate. That's an important part.
Well, you think you're fine. So I'm like writing and doing everything that you normally do with my right hand. And then I started feeling it. I'm like, I don't think I should have been doing that. I think I came back a little too soon with the writing and with the texting and all that. And so, yes, rehab, very important.
If you're listening, Matisse, don't take any shortcuts.
No, don't take any shortcuts.
You don't want to end up like Brooke.
More ways than one.
Yeah. Well, that's good for this edition of the Blazers Balcony, presented by our friends at Spirit Mountain Casino. We'll be back next week. I will be back here in Portland. Brooke will be on the road, so we will, through the power of technology, I think you'll maybe be in New Orleans, Brooklyn? And
probably.
I'll be back here in New Orleans is Portland?
North Portland. Sure.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but yeah. So hopefully some better performances to talk about, and that Brooke and I just really mentioned it. The kind of before we started up, it's always just a bummer to like be playing well and then have a bad game, and then we're like, oh yeah, they were scheduled to podcast on. So yeah,
exactly.
No one asked us. I was like, hey guys, we are going to record a podcast.
Yeah, just so you guys know, before you take the floor tonight, we're podcasting tomorrow.
Maybe it'd be a little easier on us if we had some better stuff to talk about.
Do us solid, that'd be great.
If you could, that'd be fantastic. So with that motivation, your Trailblazers should go on a winning streak now. So we'll talk about that next time. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow Brooke on Twitter and Instagram. Don't follow me anymore. And we will talk to you soon.
Peace out.